Today we're going to Coventry Airfield to see NightFright, the C47 Dakota that is currently being restored there.
It is an original Membry aircraft. It flew out of Membry for D-Day. It then went on to do cargo operations after the war all through, I believe, Canada or America. But it got found, I think, somewhere in America after they'd done some research. It had ended its commercial career, and then Charlie bought it. They took it all apart, brought it back to Coventry, and now it's nearly ready. But it's the detail is fantastic, really.
Gonna restore it to flying condition so they can do parachute dropping and all sorts of stuff with it. It's been there for quite a while, but it's almost finished.
There's enough of us here. We'd all bought a roller each. We could have had that done this afternoon, and then it could be out the door next week. I don't know why it's taking so long. All joking aside, though, there's quite a lot of work on it. It's a proper thing. Yeah, I just had a little look underneath. There's some oil lines, fuel lines. There's like 1 million connectors under there, which is just like, how do you know where all the bits go?
Charlie, tell us a little bit about the project and where it's come to so far.
Oh, it's a long story. It goes back over 10 years, really. So my family owns sort of part of Membry Airfield, and that's where we got our family business, Walker Logistics Limited. And I don't know, we kind of thought it'd be quite cool if we could give something back, let people see what happened at the airfield, the people that were based there, what the aircraft were used for, what type of aircraft they were even. And it became quite clear that it was the C47 and the 436 troop carrier that was most synonymous with Membry. And yeah, I guess I sort of set about trying to find one of these aircraft that flew from Membry. Did I think that would be possible? No, not really. But yeah, wound up finding this aircraft, NightFright, that's behind us in a scrapyard in Arkansas. And the original aim was honestly just to put it on a pole, put it outside the airfield, have it as a gate guardian. So, if you drive down the road past Membry Airfield, you realise that something significant happened there. And yeah, it's gone quite a lot further than that now. So yeah, now here we are, well, over 10 years later. And yeah, the idea is to have NightFright as the finest example of a C47 flying in the world. So yeah, there we go.
So how long do you think it will be before it is flying, and how are you going to incorporate Membry in flying career?
Oh, you ask all the good questions. That's the $1 million question, isn't it, really? If I had £1 for every time I said the aircraft would be finished and it'd be flying, I think I probably could have paid for it a couple of times over. But the end is in sight. So yeah, the guys have been working really hard. They've been concentrating on the structural tasks. So the idea is to have it painted in the next few weeks. So hopefully by the end of October, sort of into November, she'll be looking like NightFright in her sort of final paint scheme. Then it's on to running the engines, putting the wings on, and finally, obviously hoping for some test flying early next year, ready for D-Day 80. And how are we going to sort of incorporate and sort of honour Membry in that? Well, by putting a museum up at Membry, having the aircraft there on occasions. And yeah, the whole story is about Membry. It's about troop carrier. Yes, of course, it's about the aircraft, but it's about more than that. It's about honouring, and it's about education.
Epic. So I guess the $1 million question everybody wants to know is, how much is it going to cost?
How much is it going to cost? How much does it cost? It's cost a lot. I'm going to sound like a politician, and I give the same answer every time, but it's cost 7 figures. That's what it's cost us. So I had no idea it was going to cost that much. I had no idea it was going to take this long, and I had no idea it was going to be this involved. And it's snowballed. It really has. And yeah, people think we're mad, but my view would be, if you've got the opportunity to do these things, you've got to take it, because otherwise you lose these pieces of history. So that's kind of why we're doing it. It's a passion. Are we mad? Probably, but it'll be worth it.
So there we are, just to make sure the level of detail is being done to the letter. That's what it was, and this is what it is now. And that's the sort of level of detail the whole thing's been done to. The door switch for the light in the cockpit, the whole thing's just, fantastic. Where else are you going to get to see this being done, this level of detail? You know, a bit of a privilege, really. But, and also, just because this is quite a nice thing, this is just one bracket in the aircraft, and all the screw heads are lined up properly. So the rest of it's going to be like that. Built right. So I've been demoted already,
Love it.
but it's not too bad to be fair. It's quite a nice view. Look. We have many knobs in here, not just us. So obviously this is all done since we were last here. New radios, new modern radios going in with some avionics, and from what I understand they're going to put a false panel over there, so when it's on display it'll all look authentic.
This aircraft is called NightFright. Can you tell us where it got its name from?
Yeah, absolutely. So it comes down to the captain of the aircraft, First Lieutenant Bill Watson. So he was an avid reader, and one of his favourite authors was a French author called Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, and his favourite book from that author was a book called NightFlight. So it's a play on words. So everyone thinks it relates to the type of aircraft and type of flying they did, formation of flying at night. So I guess it kind of alludes to that a little bit, but it's actually a play on words from that book. And you know, each sort of squadron would typically have an artist within the squadron, so maybe one of the crew chiefs or something, and they would crudely apply the nose art to each aircraft. So yeah, we got some really nice photos of the nose art on the side of NightFright, and yeah, we can't wait to paint it back on, and then she'll sort of really take the name again.